Okay, Vapor Jim here. We are going to do a real quick look at some of my READYxWICK builds today. Very quickly before we get started, the obligatory caution about battery safety. First off, all of my mechanical builds are running on 30 amp VTC 3s or 4s. None of them are below 0.2 ohms. And I'm also using on the dripper builds, I'm using except for the Vapor Shark, which uses a built-in battery pack, I'm also using and it's not sub-ohm, by the way, I'm using 30 amp Sony VTC 4s. Vape safe, but let's take a quick look at some of the things that you can do with READYxWICK. This is a Nimbus. Now, with one exception, all of my drippers are clones, and all of my mechanical mods are clones. So, just so you know, Magneto, dripper. The dripper in this particular case is a Nimbus. It's got, I will manually, hang on, focus that in so you can see it. It's a roller coaster build. This particular roller coaster build, yeah, it's dirty. It's actually, all of these are working builds. They're actually ones that I have in my everyday rotation. Okay, they're constantly being used. Now, that build is over 9 months old. It may very well be the very first READYxWICK build I ever did. Now, these are all dry so that I don't spill juice everywhere when I'm trying to show you how to use them. I eventually found out, thanks to a YouTube that Jeremy put together, that these builds, this particular build, and one or two of the others I'm going to show you, use way too much READYxWICK. Now, the roller coaster gravity helps it a little bit, but remember it's a wicking material, not a saturation material, so it doesn't work quite like cotton. And that's a good thing. Now, I'm not a cloud chaser. I'm a flavor chaser. That's 0.8 ohms on that particular build. Not bad for an Addy that was built over 9 months ago and has been in constant use ever since. Let's look at the next one. The next two are on excuse me, K100s. This one is an IGO W, just a plain 3 poster IGO W. There you go. Now you can see the difference in the way. First off, you'll see that the ends are snipped right by, real close, right by the coil. All right, and just flush with the edge. And then if you look in the bottom, you'll see that just basically flips over and lays down in the juice well, leaving the open end of the juice well, or the open end of the wick, laying where it can actually soak up juice from the juice well. Therefore, it actually can wick, which it couldn't before. Now, the other thing is that this is now on a 7/64" drill bit wrap. Before, I was wrapping them much smaller than that, and I was probably choking the wick. Now, this one's at 0.2 ohms. The lowest build coils that I have are all 0.2 ohm builds. Again, let me throw the autofocus back on when I'm not doing a close-up. Drilled this thing out, holes at 1/8 inch. Now, I'm not a cloud chaser, but these are clouds. Sweet. Moving right along. The next one is also on a K1000, and it is, excuse me, the only exception to my clone atomizer rule, and that's an original Patriot. You can see it's got a bigger deck. I had way too much wick in there. I trimmed it back. It's still more wick than what it needs, but it's got a decent sized drip well. 24 gauge Canthal, 0.2 ohms, just like the IGO-W build. Now these juices, depending on which one, I think the first one was a 70% VG. The second one was a 60% VG. This one is a 70% VG. I'm sorry, this is a tugboat. Still same build, but it's a tugboat. It's not the Patriot that I thought it was. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm really digging these tugboats. One of my favorite coils right now. .332 air holes. I did not have to open them up. I didn't modify them in any way. All right. The next one, excuse me, is on my Vapor Shark. At 13 watts, it's 1.1 ohms. I built this one a little higher so I could use, because I had some 12 milligram juice I wanted to be able to try. It was a little too thick. This is a 70% VG. So again, this is 28 gauge Canthal on READYxWICK on a Tobe. Now I got to tell you right up front, I am not a fan. I don't know why people really like these Tobes. For me, it's a lackluster vaping experience at best. For the ad, the air holes, the 3 on each side, were way too small, and even after opening the center air hole on both sides to 1/8 inch, I just don't like the performance. I've tried several different builds. I built it at 0.2 ohms and tried that. It really didn't do. I just. Lower ohm builds and stuff, I can definitely get bigger clouds. I'm not a fan of the tugboat. However, the READYxWICK build on that works perfectly. Here's my Patriot. Now this one, my original Patriot. Now this one again, you're going to see that's a clapton coil. This thing is like 9 months old. All right, 8 or 9 months old. Still got too much wick in it, but it's working, so I didn't want to mess with it. All right, there's still room, and it does an incredible job. Now on this one, 60% VG, so not nearly as high a VG content as it could be. It's not. Remember, I'm chasing flavors, and this is one of my absolute favorite juices. May be my favorite dripping juice, which is chick sauce. So we'll soak down that clapton coil pretty good. Clapton coil is built at 0.4 ohms. Again, like I say, it's on an original Patriot, and I flooded it. I can tell you that right now. I had to take one of the two O-rings off because it was just too damn tight. Single coil Clapton. At 0.4 ohms. Awesome. Awesome vape. Okay, moving right along. The next one is one of my favorite, absolute favorite atomizers. All right, there again, 0.2 ohms. All right, now most of these are 3 or 6 milligrams of nicotine, unless I say otherwise. Again, you can see clipped off right at the edge, just barely enough wick left in there to lay down and touch flat on the bottom. Probably just a little bit too much wick, but it's got a great drip well. The other thing about this one, this is my Stellaire clone. So, step one, you put the outer sleeve on there, and you don't have to take the outer sleeve off to drip it, okay? So with the outer sleeve on there, that's, again, 0.2 ohms, 24 gauge Canthal. I'm going to drip that up. Put the wrong juice on there. This is going to kill me. Damn. Okay, I just put some 3 milligram juice on there, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to vape this, but we'll try. This thing hits so damn hard. I put Noah locks on the threads. This is a solid brass Chayu. I couldn't even imagine trying to hit this on one of my copper mods. Let's see what it does. That one I can play with. I can make a competition. I think I can make a competition, do a good showing, at least locally. I usually vape 0 milligram on this, so it's kicking me. At 3 it hits hard. Okay, moving right along. The next one is that is a copper 4.9 clone. All right, and that is a Mephisto build at 0.4 ohms with 24 gauge Canthal. Again, you can see clipped short. Right by the end of the coil, and very little bit of wick to lay down flat on the bottom of the fairly deep drip well, and with an open at the end so that there's plenty of room for the juice. And so this one, we're vaping at excuse me, 70% VG. Again, we're vaping this one, and it's excuse me, a 0.4 ohm build on a Mephisto clone. All right. So, I tried a 0.2 ohm atomizer on the solid copper clone, and I simply couldn't vape it. It kicks that hard. Moving on along. The next one's another tugboat. I love my tugboats. This time on a solid copper Nemesis. And again, you can see that's the same cut short, wick lay down in the bottom. Probably a little more wick there than I need by just a smidge. Nice deep drip well though. This has got one of my favorite lemon vapes. Again, this one's at 70% VG. I'm just going to fill up that drip well a little bit there so it can wick. Get it started. Okay. A little bit extra over here. Okay. And this one, again with the tugboat, no modification necessary to the holes. Dang, close enough to see. It's still standard 3/32 inch holes. Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that black tugboat on that copper mod look. Rick Trippers would say it's sick as tits. So. I'm gonna let this one patina. I'm gonna let both of these coppers patina naturally. Okay. .4 ohms, 24 gauge Canthal on READYxWICK, 3mm. All of these 3mm. All right, beautiful builds. There was a video. I'll put the link down in the description that Jeremy or Lucidious Rage did, showing the proper way to build. So that takes care of the drippers. So I have two more atomizers to show you real quick. This is actually a Genesis. It's a Pulse G. All right. The Pulse G, it's on a Hannah clone, no markings, it's just the way I like it, that way there's no mistaking the fact that it's a clone. This one is at 1.4 ohms. Alright, now the thing I like about this Pulse G is that the block reduces, and so I could build it dual coil, or I put the block in place of the second coil, which reduces the chamber by about 75%. And with that, and you can see, I mean, it's just been sitting there. And now this is another one that's been, the build on this is probably 7 or 8 months old. Never changed the coil, never changed the wick. I did drill it out on that one side to 1/8 inch. I'll never use it as a dual coil device. I had stopped using it for a while because I started playing with K-Funds and stuff. But I got to tell you, right up front, honest to God, this Pulse G, for me, outperform any K-Fund on the market. Any fogger, any K-Fund, I'd rather have this Pulse G. And with the READYxWICK, and this is something you need to see, if I can get it in there close enough, you can see the READYxWICK down in here. It's actually touching the bottom of the, so it's non-conductive, it's not going to make a short. it will literally drip every last drop of juice out of that tank to where there's none left whatsoever, and then you can still vape on what's in the wick. .4 ohms, 11.5 watts on this one right now. That gives me right at 4 volts. And it's great for, you know, the higher juices. It's got a 60-40, no, a 50-50 juice in there right now, so it's 50% VG, 50% PG. The next tank I put in there, I'm going to put in 60% VG, 40 in PG, and see how it wicks. This is 12 milligram, by the way. Awesome, awesome flavor. Flavor, throat hit, vapor. I would put this up against any K-Fun on the market. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, this is a ProTank 3 head that's been rebuilt, and this particular one is a single coil. I always rebuild them single coil, but I do use a small piece as a flavor wick to keep the chimney on top from shorting out, because I'm using 28 gauge Kanthal on 3mm READYxWICK. So there's 2 pieces of READYxWICK there. Now the reason I showed you that is because what's in here is just like that, except it's at 1 ohm even. This is a GLV Super-mini running on a 16340 battery. Single battery, okay. Single 16340 battery. 3.7 volts, unregulated. It's the perfect stealth mod. It's all matte black. Now, I usually stealth vape with it. So I take it to movie theaters and places like that, you know, wherever I'm at, you know, hospitals, whatever. Because I vape everywhere. But, and that's what I got it for, is for stealth vaping. But I wanted to get that kick, so I rebuilt the coil, 0.1 ohms. You don't get a lot of battery life, but I carry a box, and you can get 4 batteries in the box, so I got plenty of spares. Plenty of vapor to keep you going and keep you satisfied. So that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to run through real quick and give you an idea of some of the builds that you can do. Anybody tells you you can't chase clouds with READYxWICK is an idiot. And now you'll see why, for me personally, it's the only wicking material I use. I still believe that READYxWICK is for vapors. Cotton is for tampons.